Yeah.
What is up, everybody? How's it going? Good morning. It is, what is it? It's Thursday, July 24th, coming at you. Yeah, Packing Today show. It's the two of us. Corey's out. He's on assignment. We gave him an assignment.
Yeah.
All right, man. So it's just you. It's just you. It's me, Valley Modges, host of Packaging Unbox podcast. With we hit 25,000 subscribers yesterday, which is cool. It is just a little bit of a vanity metric, but you know, why not? Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for subscribing. And if you haven't, go subscribe. Let's see if we can hit 26,000. And we got my buddy Adam Peak, host of People Packaging podcast.
Yeah, I was hoping if I wore this shirt today, I wouldn't get cut off.
No, why would I cut it off? Corey's not here.
Well, oh yeah, Corey's usually the one who does it.
All right.
Yeah, so just thanks to all the followers in Indonesia that have followed the Packaging Unbox. I think it's up to 23,572.
That's right. It is blown up in Indonesia.
For those of you who don't know, sometimes it's hard because we get asked on our podcast because people will reach out about sponsoring, and it's like, how many, they want like data.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a little like you've done it the correct way, right? Like you have built over time, but you can go pay to get the data. And if you've ever seen those videos, there's literally like full companies where people are they've got 1,000 different cell phones, and they're just that's all they do all day. It's just like and do stuff. It's just engagement farming, and I don't like it. And you haven't done that, so huge congratulations on your 25,000 followers.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Chris. It is pretty cool. And what's up, Clayton? Clayton's been on for a couple pretty regularly. So
yeah, he's got a shirt coming his way here pretty soon. It's pretty exciting.
You get a shirt, send us a picture. We'd love to post it, or post a picture. We'd love to share it.
Yeah.
What's up, you? You's long-time listener, first-time poster.
Yeah, and no, he did call. Long-time listener and one-time caller. He called into the hotline once.
That's right. I was scrolling through my LinkedIn feed, and today we'll get to the topic. We're going to talk about food delivery packaging or food transport packaging.
Yeah.
And some of the things that are going on in that. But I don't know, scrolling through my feed this morning, and I'm just seeing like new podcast after new podcast after new podcast. And it's great, launch your podcast. But it's not easy. These things end up being a ton of work. And sometimes depending on like what you're looking to do, maybe what makes the most sense is just go on somebody else's podcast. Like there's enough podcasts out there that you can go on a new one every week, and you'll probably get even more traction than actually launching your own. What's up, Brandon? How's it going?
Yeah, I agree. I tell people whenever they reach out and ask me about starting a podcast, number one, I'm always encouraging, because I'm not going to tell somebody don't do it. It's not like this is some sort of like competitive space, where we're like fighting and scratching and clawing forever. That's not how it is. So I'm always like, yes, go start a podcast. If you have a cell phone, you can start a podcast. That's why there's so many of them. But I would tell them, to be totally transparent, starting a podcast is very easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sustaining a podcast is very difficult. It just takes a tremendous amount of consistent creativity and thought and scheduling and maintenance, and it's hard. And I don't want to say like don't get into podcasting if you're not in it for the long haul. I didn't know I'd be in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying like you have to have some sort of like plan, but I would say make sure that you can do a minimum of 12 to 20 episodes. Like have that in your head. Like I can do a monthly podcast for a full year. I can do it. I know how it's going to work. I know how to do it. And then go do it and give it a shot. You're not going to have a whole lot of traction. unless you pay for it. If you're just going to do it organically, you're going to get 2 listens, 2 downloads, 5 downloads here, something like that. But that's okay. Just do it for the sake of doing it, and do it for a full year. And if you're like, this sucks, I don't want to do this anymore, then stop. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are a lot of podcasts and a lot of Coldplay memes. That's
right. But
yeah.
if you're thinking about it, you can always ask to be on somebody else's. So you can kind of see how it works. See what kind of traction you get there, and then kind of decide how you want to move forward. You can always reach out to us too if you have any questions on starting one or anything like that. We're more than happy to help.
Totally. Yeah.
All right, man. So you sent over this link today.
I did. So today in Utah is it's a state holiday, which is why I am not in my office. We have today off, and so it's called Pioneer Day. So it's sort of like the 4th of July for Utah. I am not a expert in.
You sent pie packaging?
Yes, because when I moved here, someone was like, "Hey, the 20." I first of all, I asked, "Why are there fireworks going off every night between July 4th and July 24th?" And they were like, "Well, because we have the 4th of July, then we have Pioneer Day." And I'm like, "What in the HECK is Pioneer Day?" And so it's basically the day the state was founded by the LDS Church leaders, and so they said, but since you're not part of the church, you can celebrate what's called Pie and Beer Day. And I said, okay, what is it? They're like, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can enjoy some pie and drink some beer. And so that's kind of the whole thing here. But yes, it is. And so I was just looking for like interesting pie packaging. I saw this thing that was like a reusable wood box for transporting pies, and I was like, you know what, we don't need to talk about like interesting pie packaging, but one thing we haven't discussed is like transporting food either for single use like DoorDash or in reusable packaging. Like if you bring food over for a dinner party, or if somebody needs a meal dropped off, like that's all part of the packaging journey. And it's not something that I think people really talk much about.
Yeah. And all right, so then what's some food packaging that you've worked on?
So for companies, I've worked on some.
And Chris Olson's wrong, just by the way.
The key to success is a trending topic like labels. Yes, if you want to really have a sticky podcast, talk about labels the whole time.
Yeah, because labels are not packaging you.
Also, if you would like to put somebody to sleep, you can talk about that.
Right. So food packaging you've done.
Yeah, so I've worked with some like quick serve restaurants, and really since 2020, this has been a conversation of like, how do I ensure that my customers are not only receiving the order that they ordered, but it also hasn't been tampered with. Mm-hmm. And so they want it to show up, hot and as fresh as can be, and also with a level of certainty that the delivery driver, Uber Eats or DoorDash, whoever it is, hasn't tampered with it, right?
We've seen enough of those videos where, the DoorDash drivers snacking on some food.
Yes.
Yeah, that's super gross.
It's so gross, and I've never actually really used it. I think maybe once in my life have I used it. Mm-hmm. Because I just find it silly when I live close to a bunch of these places. I'm like, I can get in my car and go drive. I don't need to pay somebody an extra, whatever, $10 to drive. So anyway, that's the kind of, I've worked on that type of packaging. Actually, labels are a big part of that because you can put a tamper evident seal on these that leaves like a void pattern behind, so that if somebody tries to peel it away, they can't stick it back on because it'll leave a void adhesive pattern print.
Yeah.
So there's some cool stuff you can do.
No, that's cool. I think. I don't do a ton. I don't do a ton of food packaging. I did this box for a company called. I always go back to this box. This box was pretty revolutionary back in the day. Um, it's for a company called Billy's Bakery out of New York, and it was a single. It's this thing here. They still use it. It's probably been like 15 years. Um, this box ships completely flat. It takes a second to assemble, and like it has this pop-up insert inside, and you put a cupcake in there, and then like you walk out of the store with this like the one little cupcake box. And people were like, "Oh, I get to put this on my handlebars. I can to drive, in New York and stuff." And then of course people were like, "Well, why is so much packaging for a cupcake?" Right? And these cupcakes are like $10, and you can buy your own little box um, for $1, which was pretty fun. For me, the exciting part of that was just making something structurally that goes from a flat sheet to an assembled box that has all these different features. That's a fun challenge. Like that's something that I enjoy doing. I've kind of done similar things with with Burger King, and then like some cheese companies, and I don't know, but like if they come to me, it's going to be hey, we want something super complex that starts off really simple, because like that's the fun part for me. If it comes to like, hey, we need something that's got super barrier properties and has all these features that are technical, then I'm usually not the guy for that. So that's why I don't get a lot of food packaging.
Yeah. Well, think about something like there's a bunch of these industries that we don't really consider, but
Mhm.
they're big industries and require a pretty complex packaging delivery system. So, if you ever watch, I don't know if you or your family are into like the baking shows, like the cake shows,
Mhm.
but there's my mother-in-law she's a really like high-end cake maker for weddings and parties and things like that.
Is she the
And
cake
the
boss?
she's not the cake boss.
No.
She could be, but the the complexity of making sure that a cake that you have spent in some cases days
Mhm.
fine tuning and crafting and making, and it's cost, I don't know how much it costs, but it's a lot of money, is then delivered in a way that is, tastes good, it looks good. Those two things are very, very complicated. And then in some cases, you have to make sure that it's in packaging that can just be discarded when it gets to the destination. In some cases, they have to put it in a truck and drive it across state lines. Like so, it was things like that that kind of got me thinking. Like, what about these other areas of packaging? Whether it's like putting a pie in a wood box and strapping it to your bike because you're a pie maker. Um, Oftentimes, these are entrepreneurial, independent kind of people.
So like
Yeah, like the cake box. Yeah, like
yeah.
exactly. So these are solopreneurs. They're not watching the Packaging Today show. They're not on LinkedIn. They just love to make
Mhm.
cupcakes. They love to make, bake cookies. They love to, make whatever it is, right? Mozzarella to go in coffee.
Hell yeah. Hey, so all right. So question for you, because
Yeah.
this is not like my space. If you're making wooden boxes for food, it's not direct contact because the wood's not touching the food, but it is traveling in it. So like what do you have to know about the wood that's used? Is it going to be treated? Is there anything, because it's locked into this space with all the air that's coming off of that wood that can transfer to the food? How do you know that it is technically food safe?
I think that
What would you be looking for?
I would guess, because we're probably stepping outside of our areas of expertise, and it would be cool to
Mhm.
get someone on who knows about wood packaging. My guess is that the in this case the cake or the pie or whatever it is has to be wrapped in something else, and that the wood is serving as sort of secondary protective packaging and not
Mhm.
direct food contact.
Right. Well, it's not coming in contact directly. If it's a cake, there's going to be a disc underneath it, but like the it's not protected. Like it's not in a plastic wrap. I've received one of these cakes. I received one of the was it was a pecan pie from Texas. This place in Texas that has like this famous pack. I think it's like the good something.
Sounds like we need to order it.
Dude, it's so good. But I'm on a diet. Yeah, but like here's this was pretty much how it arrived.
Oh, nice. Did you keep the box?
Probably at some point, but at some point you kind of get rid of it. Here's all right. So here's a couple things. Clayton Gons starting a new job in food packaging. So maybe you can hop on the show with us and kind of talk about some of the stuff that you're going to be doing.
Yeah, you got to wear your shirt though, Clayton.
That's right. Every day to work. And then John Gregory's coming in saying, if the wood is raw and not coated, it is food safe. This is from someone who used to own especially wood manufacturer that sold into packaging.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so you're not like taking pallets apart and making food packaging out of that. So like this is raw, untreated. Is there a concern about it pulling moisture out of the food? Or is it like Adam says, where you have to like really package the food before you put it in here? And I'm asking you, John, if you can comment, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. The other reason I thought this was an interesting topic is there, kind of going back to like the Utah and even some of my like evangelical roots, and there's a lot of like meal sharing in Utah. So if somebody is either it's a celebratory meal sharing, it's just like a dinner get together, or it's someone has lost somebody or is struggling with an illness, and kind of the community will rally around them and help provide meals. There are now like I saw this the other day. It was like a single-use corrugated tray for carrying Tupperware, like hot Tupperware, that you just buy on like Amazon. So you can put your glass Tupperware in when it's hot into this corrugated box. It's got handles that go up and over, and then you can just carry this box with your Tupperware. They can obviously, you want to get your Tupperware back, or I think Tupperware is even out of business. Whatever
Rubbermaid,
whatever it is, right? Whatever the glass or plastic thing that you're going to use, you want to get that back. But I thought, man, that's crazy. They're still like innovating on what seems to be this very like niche area that is like food delivery from family to family, or or maybe even like a B2C kind of DoorDash situation.
Yeah, and again, that's not a space that I do.
Yeah, Velio doesn't leave his house, so
I really don't. But here's this packaging that you're seeing here. Don't do that.
I can't. I'm on my phone, so tell me, what is this? Just a single donut?
It's a bundt cake with a circle die cut around the bundt, and it is not appetizing.
Oh no, thank you.
it's very not cute. But just looking at comments here, we got so John answering back. Actually, Clayton, when he interned at Pharma, there was a case study where they were investigating the source of contamination in a particular drug, and they found that the chemicals from the treated wooden pallets transferred through to the tertiary, secondary, and primary into the drug.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like with pallets, there's a lot of chemicals that are going in there. So you just never know what's going to transfer to your product, whether it's like scent or it could be a ton of different things.
Right.
And then same thing from John Gregory, that wood can impart flavor into a moist food. So, and then it can also pull moisture from food. So I know a lot of people are talking and asking to eliminate plastics in some of this packaging, but plastic serves a purpose of containing the moisture, right? So, and as someone that cooks a ton, like that's a big question, is like, hey, if this is going to be, if it's a cake and it's this moist and I put it in wood packaging, is it going to pull the moisture out? So by the time it gets served, is it going to be dry? Do I have to make this even wetter in order to combat that, or do I really want to deal with that?
Right.
Yeah. Like that just seems odd. But the wooden packaging does make sense for a couple of brands. If it's like a craft, if it's trying to feel like it's homemade, if it has like some kind of vintage aspect of it, but I don't see that being key to a lot of like modern brands, and it's not cheap.
No, no, it's not. But I mean, even thinking about like
I don't know what
cigar
we're talking about
packaging and stuff
packaging.
like
We don't
that.
know anything about.
Yeah, well, it's kind of par for the course. If you guys can tell, we would love ideas. Um, and I didn't want to be like, Debbie Downer, but the reason, obviously there was the Pioneer Day thing, but I did deliver a meal to a family recently where my friend here in Utah sadly, tragically passed away, wife and 6 daughters. And so we have been trying to help, like we're cooking the meals, and I brought one over there, and I was like, obviously I'm thinking about a lot more than just packaging, but I realized like this actually happens more often than we realize, where there's somebody who's making a decision about what to put this meal into, and you're going to go take it over to somebody's house, and you're not thinking about food safety necessarily. I mean, you are,
Mhm.
but like you're just putting it in kind of whatever you have, and then how do you transport it? Let's say you make them soup. Like, well, how do you get soup over there without it going all over your car? And these are decisions that people make, and I'd never even thought about it from a packaging standpoint actually until recently. It's just like, yeah, can you just hold this while I drive? And it's like, you're going over to someone's house, and it's like a crock pot with gloves, and you got a blanket on there. It's like, don't spill it. Um, and it was interesting to see that there's like innovations now on how to like transport,
Mhm.
like to solve that problem. Like there's somebody who's like, this is my business. I need to solve this problem. And it's something that we don't really, kind of discuss or talk about. So
Yeah. Well, I'm really sorry to hear about your friend. And I don't, but I think the food transport, like the personal food transport, isn't a big enough issue for people to solve. Like in terms of like launching big businesses around it, even though there are some. But I'm just thinking selfishly about me. My I've got limited cabinet space. So do I want to use up cabinet space for something that I'll probably use once a year?
well, yeah, but what you need to realize is,
I need more friends.
well, not that, but there are, like, let's take my, like I'll just talk about like my upbringing, right? So my parents every week for my entire childhood would have a small group Bible study with other people for 20
Mhm.
something years, the same group of people, and they would all get together, and they would usually bring food, and they would sit. So this was happening weekly in multiple houses in a small community in Monument, Colorado, right? Um, and that's not just something that happens within this religious system, right? It's you got poker nights where people go to, and I think we're seeing more and more of this emerge, and that's why I was surprised to even see like a brand that was like, this is what we do. We sell this online. You're not gonna be a $1 billion company, but I think that people would be surprised that like I would bet you could make $1 million solving this problem. And I don't want to say pretty easily, but it happens way more frequently. And and I've been living around it my entire life, and it was the first time where I was like, oh my gosh, there's a whole business. I'm not starting it, but I'm saying like there's a whole business around this
Okay,
that I think people will jump into.
so what is the business? Like what's the business plan here?
I don't know because I'm not starting it. I haven't put a lot
We're
of
we're starting this. We're starting it now. We got 3 minutes.
with 3 minutes to start
So
this
it's
business.
a way to transport food. Is it like like a corrugated, a paperboard solution
Yep.
or a wooden solution? And are we putting food directly in it, or is it to transport your already existing? glass.
The one that I saw was to transport what you already have, because most people have food storage, right? You've got
There's
you've got a way to.
Those. And you probably don't have a lid for it, a matching lid.
You mean for my corrugated business?
No, for your glass Tupperware, you probably have like 10 sizes of
Oh,
glass, and you got like 3 lids.
yeah,
And
that's probably also true. But that's where saran wrap and aluminum foil come in, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like the idea of like the problem is if you have hot food and you want to transport hot food, you often don't have a way to do that if you're using glass or plastic as your food storage. But you want to get it to somebody hot, right?
Yeah,
So,
I always bring food to hot people.
well, you live in Scottsdale, and so you've got like you'll probably use like the baking mittens, and you're like, this is just how I've always transported it, right? Until 2 days ago, when I was like, oh, my wife literally, she made this meal. She's like, hey, I need you to take this. And she put it in this thing that she's like, yeah, I bought this thing. Isn't it? It's awesome. And I'm like, yes, it had handles that came up. It was a corrugated tray, and I could just take it and pick it up and set it in my car. And it was super easy. And it was the first time that I've ever seen that before.
John's asking if, didn't your parents just bring stuff over in normal casserole dishes and bowls and plates?
Well, yeah, because this was the 80s and 90s. But I mean, I'm not saying that this would be for everything. I'm just saying that
how's your new
it
company?
It happens more frequently than I think people realize.
Chris is saying that the brand HelloFresh is an interesting way to transport meals. Yeah, they do. They've got some pretty cool stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just trying to solve this business that you're launching and just trying to poke holes into this thing.
It's very easy to poke holes in a business that I have no desire to launch.
It's a very niche space for people that don't necessarily know that the business exists. And by the time
there's somebody out there who makes a plastic latch to keep an RSC closed while it's a work in process, right? Like there are what's the niches? Niches get riches. That's what I've heard. Oh, hey. My dad came in. We would have to clean and return balls. Hey, thanks, Pops.
See, you're getting the answer directly from the source.
Exactly.
Right. So John's like, how do you, didn't your parents have bowls? And it's like, yes, we did. So.
Yeah. By the way, my dad tunes in like all the time. He knows more about packaging than any of us.
That's awesome. We should have him on.
Yeah, we'll get. The next time you send me a YouTube video about some new fancy recycling scheme, you're gonna have to research it and then come on and talk about it.
That'd be fun. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. When we talk about food packaging, I think maybe we can let's do a show next week on mooncake packaging. I'm not sure if you're familiar with mooncakes, but mooncakes are part of Chinese tradition, and they've gotten completely, insanely, beautifully out of hand in the packaging. Where the packaging is, we're talking a $5,000 gift of mooncakes.
Wow.
It's all about the flash and pizzazz. So,
okay, let's do it. Can we also talk about astronaut ice cream on the same one or different topic?
Yeah, for sure. We got and then just real quick here from Chizomo. Greetings from Malawi. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, what's up? It's awesome.
Super awesome. We're getting out beyond Utah. All right, guys.
And Scottsdale.
And Scottsdale. Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Do us a favor, leave a comment, and share this with your friends. I promise.
Go follow Packaging Unboxed on YouTube.
Tomorrow will be better. Bye.
We hope.